Welcome back to 101 East. This week we come to you from the Leopold Cafe in Mumbai, India. This was one of the targets of a terrorist campaign that raged across the city for 3 days and killed 166 people. Gentlemen, just before we went for the break, we were talking about the need for a change in mindset amongst Mumbai security forces. Why is it that Mumbai does not have an elite security task force that is able to respond quickly?
Well, my response to that would be that earlier on, most of the targets of the terror attacks were people on the streets, the common man. So those who matter in decision making hadn't been targeted. So the motivation to create an elite force and to battle terrorism at the centers of power was not there. And also because for many Mumbaikars and those who are at the influential decision making level, terrorism was a far cry away in Kashmir and in North India. It wasn't meant to hit them in their glass houses, but this time it did. And one thing that has certainly emerged from this is not just in Mumbai, but right across India, there is a greater corporate consciousness about contributing to battling terror, which was something which was not happening earlier.
Would you agree with that?
Well, I think it will take a little time. They have just arrived and they are still in the process of setting up. They haven't got a place to even live. So that I presume will take
I must ask though, how much time do they need? Mumbai has had terror attacks in the past.
Even in between.
Why isn't there an elite anti-terror task force?
The elite force had to be drawn, had to be trained. Now you see, they had one force in Delhi, and that's the one that was brought in here by air. And that was the previous arrangement, that anywhere in India, if anything happened, these people would be flown in.
You know, while I concede the point Mr. Ribeiro has made that you don't create special forces overnight. It takes a long time to identify, more than anything else, a guy with fire in his belly. You know, it's not easy to get people like that. You can put on a uniform, but still not be fully there, right? But having said that, I think 1 year is a long time, and the absence of attacks should not be assumed to be a sign of peace, because the terrorist is waiting, watching and planning. Where you are not doing enough, he's going to hit you there. It may not be the Taj this time, it will be somewhere else.
And it won't be by sea, it might be by air, it might be anything. You can never be sure. And I think that they will certainly find new ways of attack.
One thing that a lot of people are talking about now is that in the aftermath of the attacks, the state chief minister was sacked, the union home minister was sacked, and now these people have re-entered, have been given plum positions. Have we not learned anything? Is there no improvement?
Well, I mean, the thing is, the only people in India who never retire and are perennial are politicians. So, you know, they move from one important job to the other. As long as you can bring in votes to the party concerned, you'll get a seat of consequence. And removing them, like the removing of the Chief Minister of Mumbai, was only a cosmetic act. Yeah? It was not, it is not. You see, that is really at the heart of India's problem in battling terror. The political drive and consciousness is not there as it is in the level of the services, at the level of the common citizen. People want to do, but then we leave it all to our democratically elected leaders who are, I mean, many of them have proved to be grossly incompetent.
On that point, earlier on you were saying that the security forces in India and Mumbai are better equipped, they're better weapons, but are they better trained?
Yes, well, they are better trained now. They're training all the time. But the only fear I have is that after being trained, they have to feel, that this is the job that is very important. Because normally we have a big problem of corruption in this country, in all walks of life. And in the police, it is rampant. So these people who are put in the, in these special forces, they would like to get out and go to the police stations where they can make money. So this is a huge problem that we face.
Maruf, do you think they're better trained this time around? Do you think the money has been spent well?
Relatively, yes, because obviously they're better trained than what they were a year ago.
Not the
but that doesn't
policemen.
mean that they're suitably trained to handle the next set of attacks.
One of the criticisms that came out from last year was that the bureaucracy was the main obstacle to the security forces responding quickly. Do you think that bureaucracy has now gone?
If the security forces, and I'm not just talking of Mumbai police, I'm talking of a national security counter-terrorism force across the board, it is to need the equipment they need to battle a terrorist like a terrorist. The bureaucracy has to sanction it. The bureaucracy is not going about it. There was a certain degree of urgency just after 26/11 because the public mood was there that do something. But it's all gone back to the same files going around the same desk. And for instance, I'll give you a classic example. If a terrorist is armed with a Kalashnikov, AK-47, there's no reason why the armed policeman should be carrying a bolt-action 303 rifle, which will take ages to get activated. If the terrorist is carrying GPS telephones and sat phones with which he can communicate all over the world, you're giving them radio sets here which get blocked by high-rise buildings. If the terrorist is moving in speedboats and you're asking him to go around on a fishing boat, I mean, it's a joke. As a state, we don't have shortage of funds. We have the resources, we have the public mood, we just have a bureaucracy which doesn't want to sign on the dotted line for fear that tomorrow they might allegations against arms purchases which they want to avoid.
That's a good point. Would you agree with that as well?
The bureaucracy, so I can tell you that besides what Maruf has said, the bureaucracy has the power or does not use it to sanction things. But besides that, they also want to take the power in the hands which is now with the professionals or should be left to the professionals. For example, policing. Now, they want to appoint the people at the police stations, so which they do not know much about them except that they come and approach them. So you see, they want patronage, they want perhaps somebody pays them also. So this is something that they should stop doing, stop actually running the force. This is what they do today.
I want to talk about the element of Pakistan here. India has suspended talks with Pakistan on the condition that Pakistan arrests the head of Lashkar-e-Toiba. Do you think this is counterproductive? Isn't it better to perhaps engage with Pakistan?
I suppose anything that helps both of us, Pakistan and India, would be welcome. But Pakistan has to understand that now they are facing a lot of problems because of the fact that they encouraged these terrorist groups. Now they're hoist with their own petard, as they would say. The chaps are troubling them, and they have huge problems in Pakistan, which we feel sorry about. But then the same fellows, if they attack us, that doesn't trouble them.
Well, you have a common enemy. Isn't it better to talk to Pakistan government and perhaps
I don't think India and Pakistan have a common enemy. The point at issue is that those in Pakistan, a handful of hardline right-wingers who believe that they can use terror as an extension of foreign policy, and those are not my words, they are the words of a moderate man called Dr. Manmohan Singh, right? If they can use terror as an extension of foreign policy and get India back onto the table every time to talk, and then get international respectability that we are still talking to India and terrorism is something which is really in our backyard, and by the way, I don't think that is going to happen this time, because the public mood is goading politicians along that there has to be more evidence from Pakistan of cooperating with India. And I'm not saying it. Hillary Clinton recently said to Pakistan that it's hard to believe that you people are not in touch with the top leadership of Al-Qaeda and other terror groups. Now that's their big patron, America, saying that. So clearly the exasperation at the global level with Pakistan is increasing, patience has run out, and Pakistan must deliver and not appear to be getting away with it with India every time. And that is really the key point.
That's all the time we have, gentlemen. We're going to have to leave it there. And that is all the time we have for this edition of 101 East from the team here in Mumbai, India, from the Leopold Cafe. Thanks for watching.